I am now introducing Insane Ian. Achievement unlocked!
Greetings, Internet, and welcome to another episode of A Comedy Musician Reacts. My name is Insane Ian. I'm a comedy musician and comedy music fan, and on this show I react to comedy music from the perspective of a comedy musician. Because that's what I am, and that's what I do, and that's what this is, and that's why you're here, and that's why today I am reacting to Benoit Blanc versus Hercule Poirot, the rap battle by FreshyKanal featuring the Stupendium, Rustage, and a bunch of other people. If this is your first time joining us, yes, I am a comedy musician, and I react exclusively to comedy music because that is where my field of expertise is. What this means for you is that I'm going to pause the video. Kind of a lot, actually. This way I'm not talking over or laughing over the jokes and missing them. I can discuss how the lyrics and video work in tandem to help enhance the comedy. Sometimes I'm analyzing, sometimes I'm summarizing, sometimes I'm explaining jokes, because that's always fun for people, and sometimes I'm just sitting back and laughing my damn head off. It's a crapshoot whatever you're going to get, but I think it's a good time. If you like that sort of thing, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things to feed the algorithm to get more eyeballs onto these videos. But if you really want to help the channel out, consider supporting me on Patreon, where patrons get to see these videos early, get my music and comedy early, and all sorts of other cool things like that. Anyway, all of that out of the way, let us dive into this video. If there was ever a rap battle that was written for me, this is it. I am a big murder mystery fan, especially of late. The Knives Out movies really got me into the genre, and then the Kenneth Branagh Poirot movies kind of pushed that forward. A couple years ago I went back and watched all the Peter Ustinov Poirot movies, and then I dove into the BBC series of Poirot starring David Suchet. But it started with Knives Out, and then the following movie, Glass Onion, and then the third movie, Wake Up Dead Man, comes out this year. I'm very excited for that. And Rian Johnson's TV series, Poker Face, is a big love of mine. I love that show. It's another murder mystery style show. The guy who wrote and directed Knives Out has a TV series called Poker Face starring Natasha Lyonne. Highly recommended if you don't watch that. So yes, I like murder mysteries. I have a big poster of Clue right there, one of my favorite movies of all time. So I had kind of dabbled with it before, but Knives Out, I dove in hard and watched a bunch of murder mysteries. A lot of Agatha Christie, who wrote Hercule Poirot. So we have the Belgian detective Poirot versus the Southern detective Benoit Blanc. Both have their different peculiarities about them, and let's see what we're going to see in this one. A little bit, slightly, one more preamble and then we'll dive in. The actor doing the visual for Benoit Blanc is the same actor who played the Daniel Craig Bond in the epic rap battles of history, Austin Powers versus James Bond video. So that's neat. He's played Daniel Craig characters twice now. Neat. But from what I understand, I think Schwabity is voicing Benoit. But Stupendium is both visually and audibly Poirot in this one. I think. That's what I've been told anyway. Let's dive in, we'll find out. Oh, it's set up like a murder mystery. We're hearing bits of audio. Heard a little bit of Stoops' voice there, I believe. It's kind of a foggy thing. Gets hit, falls over. We've got a dead person. Like the Knives Out setting. It looks like the house from Knives Out, only without... Well, I guess, the chair with all the knives is back there. Nothing against this actor. I don't think he looks like Daniel Craig that much. But he has been cast as it twice, so he looks enough like it. Also, I think my speakers are starting to blow out on my laptop because it got a little staticky there. Hopefully, the audio should be okay on this. Apologies if it's not. Also, hope the visuals on this are okay. I've been having issues with dropped frames and some of the rendering. I'm doing as best I can with it. Hopefully I've corrected it, but we'll see. And there he is.
Mon Dieu,
By
this poor man's been attacked. Don't panic, though, have some confidence. Murders on the track are exactly what I am strongest in.
Yes, murders on the track, meaning murdering bars on a rap track, but also, since Hercule is standing by the Orient Express, Murder on the Orient Express is a murder on a train, one of the most famous Poirot stories. The two most famous are arguably Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, both of which got remade with Kenneth Branagh's version. Kenneth Branagh's version of Poirot is a bit more OCD than Poirot usually is depicted. And also those movies are kind of played up to be a little bit more actiony than a Poirot story would normally be. I got into even reading the Poirot books. There's an amazing, I'm taking a sidebar again, I'm sorry, but I'm just so excited about this. And this is kind of my bread and butter because I love murder mystery stuff. There is an actual Australian comedy musician named Benjamin Stevenson who has written a series of books that are currently my favorite book series right now. They're the Everybody Murders, I guess you could call them that. But the first book is called Everyone in My Family Has Murdered Somebody. The second is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. And I haven't finished the Christmas one, but I have the Christmas one over there, and I cannot fully remember the Christmas one title. It's a little thinner. But I thought it was amazing that this guy was also a comedy musician and was writing murder mysteries, because I'm planning on a book. Thought that was funny. He's Australian, though. They're turning that one into a movie. The Thursday Murder Club is getting turned into a movie, or a TV series. They're both getting turned into TV series, one on HBO, one on Netflix. I'm reading through Thursday Murder Club right now. Sorry for the tangent. This is going to be a weird video, kids. I'm sorry. We're 7 minutes in, and I'm just excited. Yeah, and also, doing the Belgian accent, so bravo. Take it back to the beginning, again.
Mon Dieu, this poor man's been attacked. Don't panic, though, have some confidence. Murders on the track are exactly what I am strongest in.
I do like the been attacked, don't panic, like that kind of slight internal rhyme there on that.
Monsieur Blanc, are you so incompetent? Something here is afoot, so watch me once again go stomp on your super.
Yeah, something's afoot, so let me stomp on. Calling Benoit incompetent is a little rough. But I'm sure Poirot would see Benoit as incompetent. Watching Knives Out, you feel like Benoit's incompetent, but he's playing you as the audience and playing everyone else around him into thinking that he's incompetent while he's actually masterminding solving the whole thing. And, when it's finally resolved in the end and you see the things that he saw, and you go back and watch it a second time, knowing what you know from that first instance. That's the great thing about murder mysteries, is the rewatchability of them. You go and see them, and by the end, once it's been solved, or if you haven't figured it out in the middle, like some people do, I occasionally do, if you're paying attention strong enough, figuring it out is all part of the game of watching and reading them, and watching it on a second time, seeing all the hints to the ending being presented to you that you missed seeing the first time is part of the fun of all of these. As long as they're fair play mysteries. See How They Run had so much potential. It is about detectives solving a murder during a production of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, which is one of the longest running plays in history. Always a production of it running, I think, in London or in the UK. And, that is not fair play enough, because there was details about a character that we didn't know or even barely saw that character. So See How They Run kind of fell off for me, which sucks because it's got Sam Rockwell in it, and I love Sam Rockwell. But again, I'm getting off topic. I'm going to try not to do that anymore. But you got me yapping about stuff I love, so nerd dump. Sorry.
Murders on the tracker, exactly what I am strongest in. Ah, Monsieur Blanc, is it your are you so incompetent? Something here is afoot, so watch me once again go stomp and you're too puzzled with the long metaphors that you use to accomplish or prove nothing. Rule out people, then you deduce from it, so what do you do? So they give a fluke with it.
So yes, Benoit does use a lot of weird metaphors. In Knives Out, he goes and says, you know, I found the hole in the donut, but I find that the donut's hole has a hole. And he's talking about, like, you know, there's a book that he says, but I cannot remember the name of it now, like The Rainbow of Mediocrity or something like that. And then Serena Williams is like reading the book in Glass Onion. I know that's not the name of the book, but I cannot think of what it is now. My brain's blanking on it. Blanking on it, if you will. Haha! Puns. But yeah, he does get very verbose. And also, the Clue reference is great because Benoit says, I'm not very good at stupid things. He thinks Clue is stupid because all it is just checking different things off of a list. You know, you've got motive, and you've got, you know, the little clue board that they draw up in Glass Onion. He's like, no, I'm not any good at Clue. In the opening of the movie, he's not very good at Among Us. He's playing with luminaires of murder mysteries. He's playing against Angela Lansbury in her last role, because she was in Murder, She Wrote. Playing against Stephen Sondheim, who wrote, of course, amazing musicals, but also wrote a murder mystery about a boat, which is similar to parts of this. Why can't I think of the name of it? Oh man, like I'm blanking on that too. But he wrote that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who wrote a book about Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock Holmes' brother, and Natasha Lyonne, who is the star of Poker Face. He was playing Among Us against them in the opening of the movie, and was doing terrible at it, because with simple things he's not very good at. So the Clue reference here is also a reference to the Clue board that's later in that movie, and yes. See? This is made for me. This is my hole. Sorry. Okay, wait, we want... Also, these bars going real fast here is a real nice switch up.
You're too puzzled with the long metaphors that you use to accomplish or prove nothing. Rule out people, then you deduce from it, so what do you do? So they give a fluke with it. The genres are crucially true, so they churned out regurgitative spoof vomit.
Churned out regurgitative spoof vomit. Yeah, it kind of does, like, play with the genre a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's untruthful, but I think that, yes, it could border on spoof, but Clue and Murder by Death play more on that as a spoof rather than, being a straightforward kind of murder mystery. Although, I love Clue. I love Clue so much, I'm in a documentary about the movie Clue. I have so many Clue games. It's my favorite board game. Clue is a game that I play single player by myself against the computer on PlayStation and on Switch. And did a murder mystery thing for Valentine's Day. My wife and I went to a murder mystery event for Valentine's Day. It was audience participation. The audience was supposed to figure out it was a thief more than a murder, but figure out who the thief was, and some people played roles. My wife got to play a suspect, and our table, because thanks to me, we won. So this is my bread and butter here. I love that this battle is two detectives insulting each other, trying to figure out who killed this person in the opening, and just pointing out the foibles of them, like a rap battle would. This is going to end up being long, kids. I'm sorry.
You're wondering who Blanc is easy to use, reducing a whodunit to a who's dumbest.
A whodunit to who's dumbest. They're kind of whodunits, but they're kind of not, the Knives Out movies, because you kind of feel like in the opening, at least of Knives Out, you already know who done it. But you don't really. And in Glass Onion, it's kind of flipped again a little bit. Again, I'm super looking forward to the new one. But yeah, reducing it a little bit. It's more playing with the genre than reduction. It's an homage rather than being reductive. I like that.
The best detective's not likely. 007, herbs and spices.
Not likely 007 herbs and spices. Yes, because Daniel Craig plays James Bond, and also, Chris Evans calls Benoit Blanc in Knives Out CSI KFC. So the 11 herbs and spices. He's saying he's very southern fried as a southern gentleman. Yes, I like that quite a bit.
The best detective's not likely. 007, herbs and spices. The only sense he's left is dress, and that's because Inspector called a new stylist.
Just talking about like the different outfits and Inspector called a new stylist. Just so good.
The best detective's not likely. 007, herbs and spices. The only sense he's left is dress, and that's because Inspector called a new stylist.
Yeah, because the only thing he's good at is his style of dress, especially in Glass Onion. His fashion is impeccable. And because the Inspector called a new stylist, meaning they probably got a new stylist between the two movies. Great. I was waiting for something about Poirot talking about his mind. Because if you watch enough Poirot, or especially read enough in the books, or play any of the games, the video games about Poirot, of which there are many, of which I have, I think, all of, other than the point-and-click ones for PC. I have all the console ones. He's always talking about his little grey cells. His little grey cells, the way they work together. He loves talking about how brilliant his mind is, and how his mind is able to deduce and figure these out and pull them together, because his little gray cells working together to find the answer. The measuring of the egg is more from the OCD Kenneth Branagh version, rather than the version that we have depicted here, which, with the bowler hat, gives me either Peter Ustinov or David Suchet. The mustache is a bit bigger than Suchet's. Suchet's is more. It's not as full as that, but it does still have the curls. None of the mustaches are as ridiculous as the Kenneth Branagh. The Kenneth Branagh mustache is just egregious in its enormity. And also, why did we need a backstory as to why he has the mustache? That's not a thing we ever needed in the movies. Weird. But A Haunting in Venice is really good. But anyway.
Is it yet what I'll never find is Benoit Blanc or the invite list on imposter in hot water like Among Us in the bathtub.
See, there's the Among Us reference. You're an imposter in hot water like Among Us in the bathtub. Couldn't find who the imposter was while playing. He was in the bathtub when he was playing against them. Great. Because the acts up. Yes, because saying people act up, but also movies have kind of a 3-act structure. So the act itself, this act is up, trying to get to the final act, figure out the solution.
Way into my brain, writing help from Ryan. One of me, there's only one gray cell. I'll let you see inside of.
There's the reference to the gray cells. Also, a gray cell could be a reference to a jail cell, because the walls are rather gray, and it's a cell, a jail. Great bars. Again, I always wonder, with these Freshy battles, did Stupendium write their bars, or were they written for them? But love this. Love this so much.
This case is like an egg. What I mean is you can't stand it, that's alright. Enter Benoit Blanc. Right. He's here to crack. And I ask that you retract all your dull points like a fake nine. Now that mustache mask alone covering up a crime.
Saying the mask is covering up a crime, meaning your face is kind of a crime. I suddenly forgot the bars that I wanted to talk about. Dull points like a fake knife. One of the lines in Knives Out is you can't tell a prop knife from a real one, and that ends up being a character's undoing. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen things, but yeah, that's kind of a reference to that movie itself. Crack it like an egg. The case I'm going to crack it like an egg, being a reference to, Hercule's egg and cracking the case.
It's alright. Enter Benoit Blanc. Right. He's here to crack. And I ask that you retract all your dull points like a fake nine. Now that mustache mask alone's covering up a crime. Your far-fetched farming dreams will have to wait time. The only thing you planted in the soil is your late wife.
The only thing you've planted in the soil is your late wife. I think that might only be a fabrication of the Kenneth Branagh movies. Because at least I haven't read everything, and I admit this, I haven't read every Poirot story by Agatha Christie. I've read a lot of them, and I've seen a lot of the movies, and I've watched a lot of the show. And only in the Branagh movies have they mentioned anything about an ex-wife. Him being a widow. So I think that was more of an invention of the Branagh versions, because they also gave him a backstory as to why he has the mustache. So they took some liberties. But regardless, I think that's only specifically for that. And also, he sleeps wearing a mask over the mustache to protect it, so that mustache mask line could also be referencing that version as well. So yeah.
It's not a mystery since seeing him be so wicked that Agatha Christie wish she'd never been written, but please.
So yeah, I think they may be talking about the Branagh version, the Kenneth Branagh versions, because the Christie estate reportedly had some issues with the liberties that they took. And we've switched outfits here, now from the Knives Out outfit to the swimming outfit from Glass Onion. Bravo to the costume department on this episode.
Before you diss me, consider the wing conditions. Watch it blow up in your face, literally. Why are you tripping?
Oh, yes. This entire verse is based on the Kenneth Branagh version. Not to spoil those movies too much. Again, I enjoy them for what they are, but I like the other versions better, but I still like the Kenneth Branagh versions, but they definitely took liberties in talking about the character. In the World War I, I believe, considering the time period that these movies are set in, Poirot was a soldier in those movies, tripped a wire, and it blew up in his face. He got scarring around his mouth, so that's why he grows the mustache over it to hide the scarring on his face. That they don't say that in the books at all. That's not a thing, especially because in the books his mustache is never thought to be that huge. In the Kenneth Branagh movies, that mustache is basically a character on its own. It's enormous. So yes, and also they took his description in the books of being egg-shaped. Poirot is described in the books as being an egg-shaped man, with an egg-shaped head and an egg-shaped body, as a love of eggs. And he's always measuring the eggs in the Branagh movies, because Branagh is more tall and slender. So, they filled it in different ways.
Collected evidence confirms this decorated veteran possessed the intent to disperse this gentleman, thus making his murderous settlement certainly switch.
Interesting. We've got the deduction happening. Murder the second one.
What's your profession of now? Love the taste of your own medicine. Too bad I couldn't have served him early and prevented his heart from letting out.
Sorry to interrupt your skirmish, detectives. I'm Lieutenant Columbo. I'd like to ask a few questions.
I was not expecting a new challenger. And we've got somebody as Columbo here. Whoever is doing it vocally is doing a decent Peter Falk impression. Poker Face, he's like a modern day Columbo with Natasha Lyonne. She could have played, the show could have been called Columbo. She could have played like Columbo's daughter or something, and it would have been just as good. But it is its own thing. She has an inherent sense of being basically a human lie detector. When anybody is lying, she can instantly tell and can't help herself from saying bullshit every time it happens. But the mannerisms of Charlie Cale, the character, are very Columbo-esque. And you almost expect her to say, "I'm sorry, just one more thing." And if they don't say that in this battle, it's a missed opportunity, because that was Columbo's catchphrase, basically. You know, he'd be interrogating somebody, but doing it in a way that was kind of made you feel like he wasn't interrogating, or made the person he's interrogating feel like he wasn't interrogating them. And, you know, they're shining him on, they're kind of giving him bullshit things, and he already knows something about them. That was the thing about Columbo, is he's asking questions that he kind of already knows the answers to, and he's kind of like trying to give them to set themselves up for something. So he'll be ready to leave, and as he's leaving, "Oh, but one more thing." And then he would come back with the thing that would, like, that's the hint, that's what the marks of just letting you know, maybe you're not as smart as you think you are. And that was kind of Columbo's style. A TV version, Peter Falk, great. Kevin Pollak does an amazing Peter Falk impression. Kevin Pollak is an actor, but he was also a stand-up comedian, an amazing impressionist, does incredible impressions, and was on Johnny Carson a lot for doing a Peter Falk impression, and does Peter Falk's lazy eye. He trained his eyes to do what Peter Falk's eyes do, so much so that Peter Falk says to him, "How do you do that with your eye?" Because Peter Falk, I think, has a glass eye. And so, like, Kevin Pollak doesn't, and he trained his eyes to one to stay still and one to move, which is incredible. Just an amazing physical comedian. Big, like, encompasses the physicality in his impressions. Phenomenal. I'm going off on many tangents in this one. But yes, we have a new detective here. We're only 2 minutes in to the song and 27 minutes into the video. Fuck me, I'm sorry. This is going to take forever. And, sorry. We only have more detectives to jump in, probably. And I'm sad, so sad, I didn't get asked to be a part of this. Alright.
Never been the kind of man to act tough, but don't force my hands or I'll show you how catch 'em. I know you smart types all have...
I'll show you how catch 'em. I don't know how catch 'em was written as all one word. It's a reference I don't know. I'm not as up on Columbo as I am the other two. So, if I'm missing something there, I'm sure people in the comments will tell me.
Your methods, but Blanc, it's awful suspicious.
Let's take it back a little.
Show you how catch 'em. I know you smart types all have your methods, but Blanc, it's awful suspicious to find you next to that lifeless body, arguing with it. Poirot, you said you work with cops, but what I'm trying to figure out, you spent all that time in Brussels, never tried one of their sprouts.
That's a weird bar. Yes, he's from Brussels in Belgium. Never tried the sprouts. Poirot is usually a consulting detective with the police. You know, he's a private detective. He's often clashing with... Oh God, I can't think of the detective in Poirot now. But ironically, David Suchet played that detective in one of the Peter Ustinov movies, and then went on to play Poirot instead. Why can't I not think of the detective? He's all over the TV version. Regardless.
I'm sorry for your loss. Wife can nag at you for a while, but even after the murder, you're still living in denial. Mr. Blanc.
Living in denial, death on the Nile. Might be a little close on that. Am I wrong about the ex-wife? like I said, I haven't read everything by Agatha Christie on Poirot. I haven't seen all of the TV show, which ran for 20 years. But I only know the ex-wife thing from the Death on the Nile Brennan movie. It's not in any of the other versions of Death on the Nile that I've seen. So if I'm wrong on that, and there is an ex-wife thing that he's not getting over in the books or whatever, let me know, but I'm fairly certain that was an invention for that movie.
He inspired your act, right? In fact, I can tell, because a donut's not the kind of hole someone would describe you as.
A donut's not the kind of hole someone would describe you as. Yes, there are many similarities between Benoit Blanc and Hercule Poirot, which is why I was so excited for this battle, because, you know, obviously Benoit has a lot of the earmarks, a lot of the similarities to Poirot's character, both being private detectives, both having sort of eccentricities about them, and about the way they work, how they figure things out. Benoit doesn't have the catchphrases that Poirot seems to kind of have, but at the same time, he definitely has his own weird quirks, like these long, weird similes that kind of meander and don't, like the donut's hole inside a donut's hole, stuff like that.
Weeks abroad, stressing your husband, suspicious, isn't it? Don't be the first man to catch a case while social distancing.
So yes, it's learned in Glass Onion that Benoit may not be married, but is at least partnered with a man, and the whole movie takes place in 2020, so there are people wearing masks and social distancing and all that stuff. Caught a case, meaning caught a murder case while social distancing. That's the, you know, one of the points in Glass Onion.
Oh boy, whoever did this must have been some posh snob. Oh, just one more thing, how much those watches cost?
Just one more thing, there it is. Who do we have now?
One thing indeed, Lieutenant. I'll have to stop you right there. Don't think you're in successor just because you're growing white hairs.
Are you fucking kidding me? As soon as he said N's successor, we have L from Death Note. If you missed it, I did a song about Death Note on my last album. It's a hip-hop interpolation of Blank Space by Taylor Swift called Blank Page. And I didn't realize until it came out that Nate Wants to Battle did a direct parody of that song about that subject, and I completely missed it when I was researching. So, whoops. But our songs are different enough. But, yeah. So, yeah. Here we go with this. Admittedly, I haven't watched Death Note since I finished that song, but I watched all of Death Note to do that song. But yeah, the crouch, although Al doesn't usually wear socks or shoes or anything, but yeah, love this. Just the voiceover, the weird kind of monotone drone. Yeah.
Typical, it's Richmond who you target as suspects, but my suspicions of your guilt have grown beyond just 1%. So yes, I'd hard like how you...
Yes, the Richmond has grown beyond the 1%, but also saying the percentage of how guilty you must seem is, yeah, cool.
Qualified for solving this man's death. The fake eye tells me your perception skills are far out of their depth. You know?
That's a great line. That's a great bar. The fake eye tells me your perception skills are far out of their depth because, you know, if you only have one eye that actually works, your depth perception is a little wrong, but also saying you're out of your depth, saying you're in too deep, metaphorically, in this situation. Oh, we've got Mina in the background there. The second Kira. Yeah. There's so much going on in this. I'm a half an hour in, and it's only 3 minutes into a 7.5 minute song. Cool. Didn't want this one to be this long, I'm sorry.
All of your episodes, it's the same stars you're opposing. Well, this time Rob helps the culprit. Fantastic job, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the drawbacks of Columbo, from what I understand, is that, yes, there were always big guest stars on the show, but the biggest name is like, oh, they're obviously the killer. They're the big name. Because they're not going to kill off one of the big names and be the victim. They're going to be the suspect. Poker Face kind of takes that tradition as well, a little bit occasionally, but it switches it up occasionally. It's a fun show. If you're not watching it, it's on Peacock. It's good stuff.
We take what's known, rediscover it. Less Columbo, more Columbus.
Really good bars from L here, I'll have to admit. You take what's known and discover it. Not less Columbo, more Columbus. Because Columbus did not discover the New World. People already lived there. You can't discover something that people already know about. That has people living there. You can discover places no one lives or has lived. Great line. Great line. Love that.
Glass eyes, build glass tears before you ever cracked a glass onion.
References to Benoit Blanc's Glass Onion and Peter Falk's Glass Eye.
Asherade is built on lies and folk tales. That body seems like just another target, Mr. Falk-tailed.
Mr. Falk-tailed, because Peter Falk played that, and Folk Tales, Falk-tailed, because Columbo follows a lot of people, so Falk-tailed. Who do we have coming in now? I'm sure it's another detective.
Not quite, but since you play a chess match well...
Batman? The world's greatest detective? Who has not really been a detective in really many of his movies. It's a problem. But yeah, okay, sure, why not? Now we have freaking Batman in this. This is a detective cipher, but no, it's a detective battle. Give me a detective cipher, I would have been on that. I would have loved to have been on that. This is nuts. This is absolutely fucking bug nuts.
The Dark Knight and I've been following your path, L. We both were orphans, but through the pain I forged my way with discipline. Your mind was molded in a...
Okay, cool, iconic shot. I'm at a loss almost what to say with this. Yes, obviously Batman is an orphan, L is an orphan. We both were orphans is kind of an obvious bar, but at the same time, it's good to point out the similarities between these characters, I suppose. Costume looks great. Production looks solid. Bravo on all of this.
For orphans, but through the pain I forged my way with discipline. Your mind was molded in a program made for gifted kids. I don't think your goal is to save the innocent.
Oh, right. Didn't L work also with the same program that Nier was in? Again, like I said, I watched the series to do the song, and then I haven't watched it since, so I'm kind of forgetting some things about Death Note.
Stage must be sugar-laced. I know your brain's addicted.
Yeah, I do remember, because I say it in the song, L loves sweets. He only eats really sweets and candy and sugar foods. So yes, his brain's addicted to sugar, but it helped him to think, even though he was always hopped up on sugar.
To do it, your ego's feasted well on Tokyo's carcass. The perfect foil to get up because you're heartless.
That seems like almost a triple. Because they called the killer in Death Note, which was the god of death, technically. The Death Note book itself is the killer. But whoever is writing in the Death Note was called Kira. And then we have a Kira wannabe copycat in it as well. But, saying that you have no heart to be doing this despicable act, it's no surprise to say that Light Yagami is the killer in Death Note. It's said in the opening episode. You see him get the Death Note. You know it. It's all from his perspective, basically. But also, isn't Kira a name of a character in Kingdom Hearts, and Heartless are also characters in Kingdom Hearts? Yeah? I think that's right. So I think that's like almost the triple on there, because it's talking about how, yes, Kira was heartless, but also you're heartless, and also Kira and the Heartless are from this other thing.
Treating lives like they're pawns, spending all of your time watching the light, but make sure you mind the darkness. Gotham Shinigami.
So we have an homage to the Frank Miller seminal comic book, The Dark Knight Returns, of him jumping through the air with the lightning in the background, calling himself Gotham's Shinigami. The Shinigami is the god of death. That's Ryuk, who is tied to the Death Note book that Light uses. Phenomenal. Let's take it back a little here. The image of Batman on the next to the gargoyles on the rooftop there is from, I think, a Jim Lee drawing. A Jim Lee cover for the Hush storyline in Batman, but also was recreated in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I'm a comic fan, guys. Sorry. Anyway.
Spending all of your time watching the light, but make sure you mind the darkness. Gotham Shinigami in the darkest corners of the city, watching, preserving life and crashing any guilty party.
The gliding is more Arkham Knight. Well, the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Batman video games. Riddle solving also. There's a lot of Riddler trophies throughout those games. The movies don't have him being a detective as much. The Batman kind of had it more than most any of the other ones. There's a little bit of detective work in Batman Forever, I guess, with him trying to solve the riddles, but also those riddles are completely bizarre.
Of the city, watching, preserving life and crashing any guilty party. Riddles solving, it comes with the job, so hide as Hideki L or Ryuzaki. There's no shooting in the chair dumping with.
Yeah, that's right. L had all these different names.
Stop me! All that effort to see Light indicted just to be written off by his sidekick.
Yeah, okay. So his sidekick's sidekick. So his girlfriend's own Shinigami. I feel easier spoiling Death Note because my song basically spoils it. Which is available now, streaming everywhere. Blank Page by Insane Ian. I actually did a short for it on Monday. It's amazing. I'm filming this on Wednesday, so the fact that it tied in perfectly, great timing on my part. Thanks me. Oh wait, no. I didn't. I did it last week. I did it last Wednesday, because Monday this week I did a short on It's Hard Out Here for a Temp. I'm doing a lot of shorts lately.
Pieces point to you from all sides. What will you do next? It's checkmate, and you're just like your heart with no moves left.
Yeah, the Death Note basically made people seem like they had a heart attack unless it was written specifically how they were going to die. And they played chess a lot, Light and L. Kind of like metaphorically and really.
Any damage, fragile assholes does it take to crack her.
Like, wow, Scoob! Like, we've got the Scooby Gang now! Like, zoinks! So yeah, we've got the Scooby Gang, and we've got Shaggy, Shaggy Rogers as the next, battler in this, and we've got the whole gang here, and an animated Scooby. Hooray! We're gonna pause just for a second because I've been yammering for 43 minutes, and my battery's dying again. When will I learn? Never, apparently. Alright. So, this is like the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny, but just the detective end. Like, Scooby, I think Shaggy and Batman are both in that song. Sherlock Holmes is as well. So, I'm expecting Sherlock to show up in this. Considering Poker Face is recent, I'm expecting Poker Face to pop up, Charlie Cale. Not really a detective, though, just kind of happens to be around a lot of murders, which is kind of weird. But, yeah. Alright.
Murder scene, like don't lash out at Shaggy, man, cause it wasn't me. Red man. Scooby can't rush to conclusions, it's important. Last time someone took shots in the dark, Bruce got
Oh, that's a great line. That is a great bar. Last time someone took shots in the dark, like, just a shot in the dark, but I'm gonna guess this. Shot in the dark is an idiom, an expression that people say, at least in English. Let me just take a wild shot in the dark and guess. It just means you're going to take a guess. But a shot in the dark, a literal shot in the dark, is how Bruce got orphaned. That's his parents were shot at night in a back alley where it's dark. Over-explaining things is fun, kids.
Wonder where you would get us, like...
Immediately. Boy Wonder where you would get a sidekick. Robin is often called the Boy Wonder in the early Batman stories. Also, the speedy flow here is reminiscent of Robin's verse in the Batman vs. Sherlock ERB. Because it started speeding up there. I heard it speeding up before I paused it. It suddenly reminded me that. It evokes that in my mind.
It's important. Last time someone took shots in the dark, Bruce got Boy Wonder where you would get a sidekick if the element of rage doesn't let him back in. Cause I don't think you'll get away with like how you like to meddle with kids.
Oh, that's one of the jokes as old as time is like, there's the connotation, the implication that Bruce likes little boys. And over time, we've come to realize, that joke has kind of fallen out of favor, obviously because, for many reasons, socially, but also because it's shown in the comics, especially by, some of the really good writers of Batman anyway, that, Bruce was orphaned and he sees other orphans as extensions of himself. He felt their pain when they lost their folks, so he takes them in. And yes, he does train them to be crime fighters, and that's a little weird, but they are his family. There's a wonderful moment, I think in a Tom Taylor book, where, Bruce and Dick Grayson, the original Robin, who's now Nightwing, finally, Dick is tired of putting up with Bruce's stoicism, and says, just let things be what they are, and they admit that they have a father-son relationship. He's his adopted father. So, it is more familial than illicit.
I've been trained for 83 years and Gotham Soap has not gotten closer. No, but I'm better rings and I'm better equipped. Give me one crossover, I'll drop the Joker.
Kind of leaning into the meme of Shaggy being super powerful. He's not quite a coward, he just knows he'd rather run than fight. But also saying, sometimes there's the whole meme online about Shaggy going Super Saiyan and stuff like that. It's great. But yes, Bruce has always claimed to trying to be cleaning up Gotham, and the character's been around for 83 years. Literally 83 years. And things aren't any cleaner or better. So yeah, the character itself is not 83 years old. He's not, an 83-year-old running around in a bat costume. Comic characters don't age the same way, but the character itself has been around for that long. Blind as a bat. Yes, a lot of people say, there's a character named Batman and a character named Daredevil, and their powers are switched. I do have a couple Batman Daredevil crossover comics though, and that's pretty awesome. I want to take a look and see all the silhouettes here on the wall. There's the bat symbol. There's the penguin, because it's the top hat and he's holding the umbrella. That I think is Huntress with the hood, which is not really a villain. I guess it could be Talia al Ghul, if you want to get technical about things. Because I'm seeing the spikes over here, which I think are arrows. And that was the Riddler in the last shot, with the question mark cane and the bowler hat. My glasses! I can't see anything without my glasses! Yeah, Velma, Zoinks, or Jinkies. Shaggy is Zoinks. Velma is Jinkies. and is always losing her glasses just about every episode.
He's got a shag-worthy size mansion. Why are you never happy?
Shag-worthy. Double meaning there. Worthy of Shaggy, but also shag-worthy, meaning you'd get shagged a lot in it if you were home and not out crime fighting. Puns.
Gang unmask him, it's Ben Affleck, so he's method acting.
Oh, man. Yeah, Affleck played Batman once. They always unmask the criminals on Scooby. Let's take a look, step back here.
Mansion, why are you never
happy? It's Ben Affleck. That's cruel. Ben just got a lot of pictures taken him in the paparazzi when he's tired. It's not that he's not happy. He's just doing a lot of things, and you catch him in these moments where he's got his guard down. Let the man enjoy his Dunkin' Donuts. Come on.
Happy gang unmask him, it's Ben Affleck, so he's method acting. 1% and night trash your crummy villains in under minutes. Like who raised you to be such an idiot like the butler did it?
Couple lines there, going back to the 1% of being the rich. Obviously, Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. Who raised you to be an idiot? The butler did it, because Alfred raised him because he was orphaned as a boy, and Alfred raised him. Alfred the butler. Yeah, okay. But we're actually going back to one of the previous ones now. We're going back to Batman, countering on Shaggy.
Hey, Roger, solve the murder if you're so damn smart.
Like, I don't know, man. I'm only here for the free sandwich bar.
Like, I'm only here for the free sandwich bar. Is this back to Poirot or no? That's a deer. That's a bigger coat. The Deerstalker's the hat. We finally got Sherlock in this. I'm guessing.
Pass me my pipe and my hat.
Yep.
I got my eyes on the facts. Stringing more notes than my violin has. This case is finally cracked.
I think that's Rustage as Sherlock here. That is. Yeah, okay. I called Sherlock being in this, and finally we're here. At 5 minutes, this may be the last one. Incredible. You know what? If we're going pop culture crazy on this, let the last one be Detective Pikachu. We may as well.
Step on the street with a baker, and I put the fire in my raps.
Step on the street with the baker, yes, because Sherlock's address is 221B Baker Street. Yes.
Yeah, now that you're talking to Sherlock Holmes, there ain't a mind who can match. No, you can't handle the truth. Hacks into bodies that bring better value than you. What do you actually do? No better than bait when you're cool as you battered and bruised.
Whew. Rustage always brings the frickin' heat. Leaves you battered and bruised, and you're the bait usually. Yeah, that's...
Into bodies that bring better value than you. What do you actually do? No better than bait when you're cool as you battered and bruised. Not a hard fact to deduce. Gathering clues on some Baskerville hounds here, God, that can...
Gathering clues on some Baskerville hounds. Of course, Hound of the Baskervilles is one of the most famous Sherlock Holmes stories. But also bringing it back to Scooby being a dog. See a dog that can bite.
Bites are a man's or a ground, but a muscle before me a Shaggy and Scooby.
But the mutts I see before me are Shaggy and Scoob. Calling them both dogs. Okay, and we're going against everybody now in this next bar.
Hercule, I can see you in age well. No evidence relying on your fake tales. My psych is a doctor after Hastings still ain't using his brain or his grey cells.
Calling back the grey cells, that's great, yes. Poirot often has Captain Hastings as his partner in things, but Hastings is not a detective. Hastings tends to miss a lot of things, and Poirot points them out to him. But he does still serve a purpose. He does able to deduce enough things that Poirot believes in him and sends him off to investigate one thing while Poirot is looking at another and is able to bring back details and has his own skills. So he's not completely useless, but he is sometimes depicted as being kind of not entirely as effective as Poirot. Poirot is the master detective, and Hastings is kind of like learning from him, even though they're the same age and or possibly one's older than the other. So yes, there's a lot there. But yes, obviously, Dr. Watson is Sherlock's partner in deductions. And so someone as skilled in mind as he is, although not quite picking out all the details that Sherlock claims to do.
For the murder in colleges and quaint tales, terminate the publishing before they ever raise hell. Pray tell you derail to distract from the pain when your wife derailed from the track.
There's nothing I can say about that. That was just incredible. I want to hear it again.
My psych is a doctor after Hastings still ain't using his brain or his brain cells. Searching for the murder in colleges and quaint tales, terminate the publishing before they ever raise hell. Pray tell you derail to distract from the pain when your wife derailed from the track.
More derailing and talking about trains and derailed from the track and the track of life. Yeah.
Batman, all the tech that you got and helping you more than one line of coke. Under all of that stuff, you're down to the core of regular bloke.
Saying Batman uses coke is interesting. I think Sherlock used either cocaine or heroin in some of the books. It was a different thing in the era that it was written. But yes, down to the core, a regular bloke, meaning no superpowers. But yeah. All your tech can't do things. Ain't helping you more than one line of coke.
You more than one line of coke. Under all of that stuff, you're down to the core of regular bloke. Even L needs a force behind enough solving crimes of my own. So go read about a game more renowned with every death that I know.
Have Watson come in with the end bar there. Yes, every death that I note, every death that I note down in my notebook, reference to Death Note. L has a core thing behind him that's helping him solve things, but he still has his own deductive mind. They all have their own deductive minds, but they also use their own trappings to help them deduce. And Sherlock claiming that I only have me to deduce these things. And Watson.
Riding through in a horse-drawn carriage. Right past Franco got caught in traffic. Run down car and he baggeries having. He's sorting clues, can't sort his marriage. Monsieur Blanc is advice I'm given. Stop the villain, all the crimes committed. Cause every visit you find a victim. You've been bribed by slime morticians.
Okay, calling everybody out, solving the crime finally. Goodness me.
In the clues of the crime, who's gonna side on the culprit? Who's in the right? We're looking how the lace in the shoe has been tied. And the strings of the juice on his thigh. They tumbled and fell, I assume with a fright. But I see there's the blood or a wound in my side. With the use of a light, see the moves of his eye. I can only conclude that this dude's still alive.
Dude just tripped because his shoelaces were tied together? Alright, fine. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Wow, I was not expecting all of those. Little Flex, Snakebite 126, Rustage, and Freshykanal wrote the bars. Obviously, I figured Rustage wrote his own verse. I think Little Flex with Shaggy. Yeah, instrumental by Glitch Dude. Bravo, Freshy, for putting this together. Camera, Stupendium worked the camera. Fight Marker, which is one I just learned about recently, it worked in the camera, and I saw Freshy and Little Flex in a Fight Marker battle I just watched on my own randomly. Yeah, the phenomenal work. Who played who? Stupendium as Hercule Poirot. Costume by Cotswold Costumes. Makeup by Cosvia. Set help by Bright Crayon, Stoops, Cosvia, and Lawless Marshall. So yeah, clearly shot on a different studio than Freshy does the rest of his battles. Schwabity as Benoit audio and Ben Atha as Benoit video. We saw from the ERB one. Gianni Matragano as Columbo. Not familiar with who this is. So yeah, it looks like a lot of these people either, because it says set help, it makes me think that they and cameras. The fact that there were different cameras listed makes me think that these people were all filmed in different locations. Snakebite was L. Okay, so Snakebite probably wrote those verses. I also played Light Yagami as well. Mr. Tibbs is Batman in the audio, and Fight Marker played him in the video. Okay. Vladimir P. as Robin. Okay, Zossam was Shaggy. Sorry for getting that wrong. Seance Fiance as Velma. Bunico Ayaz as Daphne. Ryan Tibbets VA as Fred. Matt Racius as Scooby-Doo. Tone Jones did the beat on that one, which is a name I know from a lot of ERBs. And Rustage. Oh, and Little Flex was Dr. Watson, alright. Rusty was Sherlock, and Little Flex was Watson, and Tegatonic was the corpse who wasn't really a corpse. Phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff. That was really exceptional. Freshy does the best ERB-esque battles. ERB kind of like set a standard for rap battles, and there are a lot of people who I wouldn't really call imitators, but they're kind of imitators, but they are also branching and doing their own thing. Freshy does the best versions of those. They do stand on their own. They are very distinctly more of a Freshy battle than an ERB battle. And because they're, typically more pop culture centric than, say, ERB is actually of history. Some of them are pop culture, but the majority of them are actually historical figures. So, Freshy has carved their own niche out in this, and is one of the best to do this style of thing. So that was phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed that. I sure as hell did. If you did, please go show the video some love. Link is in the description box below. If you liked this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the things to feed the algorithm to get more eyeballs onto these videos. And if you really want to help the channel out like the folks over here do, consider supporting me on Patreon, where patrons get to see these videos early, get my own comedy and music early, exclusive reactions whenever I remember to do them, and all sorts of other cool things. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. Name is like Yagami, say it just how it's spelled. I'm still in school, and even though the grade I'm in is 12, I got the drive and the IQ, I will change the world. See, I found this weird book, now it belongs to me. I touched it and I saw a creature called a Shinigami. His name is Ryugen, it seems he is the god of death. And when your name's scrolled in his book, you'll take your final breath. So now